Have you ever thought that how becoming a better teacher you can become a better student? What if I tell you that teaching is not all about imparting knowledge to others, but it would improve your strong foundation of the subject that you are learning? What about that teaching actually improves and gives you a solid foundation and thereby boosts your moral confidence in order to become a better teacher? Yes, in today's video, I'm going to unravel and uncover the mystery and the power of teaching. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand that it is not always that the conventional method of learning, going through books, lectures, taking notes, actually helps you to learn and master the subject, but something else, teaching. Teaching actually will enhance your knowledge, your solid foundation, your understanding, and you will see that you are becoming a better learner, you are getting better scores, and you are doing well compared to all others if you pursue these points which I am going to tell you. In today's video, I am going to tell you how teaching a very unconfident, a better learner, and eventually you will do better in your career. My name is Shaunak and you're watching me on my channel Physics for Students. Welcome to this new video where we are going to explore certain critical points that how teaching can become effective and you can understand and master the subject. Right on your screen, the first point is that reinforce fundamentals. Now, what do I mean by reinforcing fundamentals? Now, whenever you are actually learning, be it physics, mathematics, initial mathematics, or it can be advanced mathematics, your concept on the fundamentals should be clear. You cannot disagree with me that without a strong foundation of fundamentals, you cannot proceed with any subject. Now, the question is that you are learning the fundamentals, but what about that you are teaching the fundamentals? As a teacher, you need to go back and back and back in order to brush up those fundamentals so that you can teach better. So right on your screen, I would like to show you 3 quick points. Number 1, consolidation of knowledge, identifying knowledge gaps, memory reinforcement. Now, what do I mean by that? Consolidation of knowledge. You have learned a lot of things. For example, you are learning trigonometry or you are learning linear algebra. Now, whenever the moment that you are teaching somebody, I am coming to the time you might have a question that whom am I going to teach, because I am just a student. I am into college or I am into as an undergrad. I will also come to that solution. So the thing is that when you are teaching somebody, you consolidate the knowledge. That means you don't tell something which is not wanted or something which is unwanted. You get everything at one point. So you will see that your fundamentals are becoming stronger. Point number 2, identifying knowledge gaps. The moment you start teaching somebody, you will see that there is a knowledge gap. And you will see that even it is true for big professors, big lecturers. I have even seen Professor Leonard Susskind in some of his videos told, okay, so let me go back to the cafe shop and who is joining with me? I will try to work on this gravitational potential or any particular physics problem. That means the knowledge gap that you literally have with you, that will be eliminated the moment you start teaching. And memory reinforcement, because when you are going as a teacher, you cannot always look back to those books, consult the notes. You have to remember from the memory, you have to write it on a whiteboard, or maybe just like me, you're talking on YouTube. So the memory reinforcement is again enhanced. So part number 1 is that this teaching method actually reinforces the fundamentals. Your fundamental is what is called enhances communication skill. Now, I'm very sorry to tell you that I have watched in my college, in the places where I teach, in YouTube, in various other places, that you are very good in mathematics, geometry, maybe in relativity and advanced mathematics and science, but you really fail into communicating. There are a lot of gaps in between what you talk. I mean to say, like what I'm trying to sell, you see, you mean, these are fillers. These are gaps. That means you do not have a word in order to tell, and every moment you are putting in fillers. Remember, this is not a proper way of communication. Now, when you are preparing yourself to communicate, maybe in front of the camera, maybe in front of a class, maybe in front of a webinar, the answer would be that yes, you need to prepare yourself. You need to have a clear communication. I am not saying that you use flowery Shakespearean words or English, but at least the way you talk. Do not use fillers like I mean, you see, like, The most important thing is that you say like and like. So please do not do that. So the moment you start teaching is that it will enhance your communication. This is very important because without a proper communication, you won't be able to, on your screen is called, it encourages critical thinking, obviously. The moment you start teaching to somebody else, then that person will ask you numerous questions. Questions which you might not have thought, questions you might not have ever perceived in your imagination, and you need to think on that, you need to reflect on that, and you have to answer that. So the question is that all those critical thinking videos that I make, and you might be thinking, yes, critical thinking is very important. What is the critical thinking all about? Critical thinking is about teaching somebody else. Right on your screen, let me show you a few important points. Questioning and inquiry, different perspectives, problem solving, reflective practice, and metacognition. Metacognition actually means that when you are putting it in somebody else's shoe, that means what you are thinking right on the other part of the camera watching this video, I can watch that, I can understand, and I can make a better lesson plan, better way of delivering the knowledge. Say for example, you are learning topology. Say for example, you are learning calculus. You see, the first point is that whenever you go to teach, you have to be solid in the foundation, in the fundamentals. Your communication should be enhanced, and it will automatically encourage critical thinking. So the questioning will make you do critical thinking. The different parts over the class, you will see that you have to again rethink. Problem solving, different kinds of problems will be given by your students and you need to solve. Reflective practice, that means you're reflecting on those ideas, and metacognition, not what you know, not how brilliant you are, but put yourself in other shoes, put yourself in the student's perspective and think what you are learning via repetitive practice. Now you might have witnessed this in my video, is that I keep on repeating a single word a number of times. For example, I made a video on what are the things that you should keep in mind while making or while selecting a book. So I tell avoid brevity, avoid brevity. Now why I am saying that, every time I am repeating this word, it is going in your brain, and you will see that, okay, so I need to avoid brevity in order to select a particular book in physics or anything like that. And when you're telling constantly, you are also feeding yourself with that data repeatedly, constantly, so that you do not forget yourself. So strengthens learning via repetitive practice. Remember, although we are very modern, we are depending on digital media, etc., but there are certain conventional orthodox method which is repetition. The more you repeat, the student understand, and most importantly for you, the things become much stronger. So strengthens learning via repetitive practice. The moment you start teaching junior classes, whatever and whoever you are teaching, your concept is getting clear, you are improving your communication, and you're repeating a constant concept repeatedly. Your learning is called deepens understanding through questions. Now what do I mean by that? Now you see, when you are learning something, a particular book, a school of thought, a particular professor, a particular lecture, you are not facing any question. Remember, it is all your question which you are asking to your professor, it is being answered. But what about 10 different students asking you 10 different questions on linear algebra, on quantum mechanics, on thermodynamics, anything? You will see that maybe out of those 10, you know 9 answers, but you don't know one. That one new question would be a new learning for you, isn't it? Right on your screen, you see facilitates conceptual clarity, obviously, because the more questions you are facing, the more critical questions they are asking, you will face conceptual clarity. You have to go back, you have to restudy, and then you have to tell to the class, okay, come on, I have got this point and this is how it is. So it will definitely help you in making a conceptual clarity. Second point is that promotes inquiry and curiosity. Yes, because you're asking your students constantly to ask you questions. So what you are doing is that you are regenerating a fertile brain in order to think, and thereby you are also thinking. Third point, addressing misconception. Now this is something very important. The moment you start teaching somebody, you will see that the other person is facing a misconception. You need to clarify and you need to remove that misconception. On the other hand, you are also facing certain misconception which you are unable to understand, isn't it? You don't know how to answer. You really don't know how to address those questions. So you have to reflect, you have to reread, and maybe you have to. Next point is that personalizes learning. Yes, this is very important, because what happens when you are learning, it is all about your own. But 5 students, out of that you find 2 of them are very slow learners. That means the program, the course curriculum, the entire design, you have to make it as per the student, as per those slow learners, right? That means that you again have to go back to your fundamentals, and you have to think that what could be the redesigned structure, what could be the new strategy so that the slow learners can learn. No problem with the advanced learners, but for the slow learners, you have to redesign a course curriculum or new exercises. So it is a personalized learning. Is that we will further go into the video exploring more points. You might have a question that I am a student, I am reading in class 8, I am reading in class 11, I am into grad, I am into university, I am just a master student. How will I teach? My answer to your question would be this. Make a YouTube channel, create webinars, deliver free trainings, do Zoom sessions, do live streamings, or whatever digital media performs. Now you see, as I tell, my daughter is right now studying in class 8, and I always encourage my daughter that you go and teach class 4, 5 and 6 students. I know she is young, but the thing is that the moment she goes back and starts teaching class 4 or 5 students, she will reinvent, and some of her misconception will be removed. She will come back to me or to my wife, and she will rectify and clarify those points. Isn't that wonderful? A class 8 student will clarify and make the fundamentals much better. So my suggestion to you would be that if you do not have a class, if you are not doing a private tuition, you're not doing anything, please make YouTube channel. Now you see that I have made a YouTube channel. This is just for 2 years, but you see the moment I started YouTube channel, the moment I started making webinars, in the last webinar there are a lot of young guys, young students, brilliant minds who asked me question. How did I address that? Maybe some of the questions I really don't know. No problem. Do not feel shy or bad on that. You can go back, study and come back, because you are not supposed to know everything. So my request to you would be, make a YouTube channel. Start teaching whatever you know. You know trigonometry, you know class 10 algebra, you know class 11 mathematics, you know physics, you know up to master's level, doesn't matter. The moment you make a YouTube channel, people will come to you, not maybe 1, not maybe 2, but it might take months, 2 months, 3 months, but eventually you will see that you are starting to teach, you are eventually creating a value to the society, and most importantly, you are contributing yourself. You are actually learning a lot of things. You can teach free of cost. Now if you're thinking that what would I gain money, etc., I cannot really tell on that, because first is the learning that has to be solid. Second thing is that you already have a Google Meet. Why don't you invite your fellow members, your friends, and let us, I would like to teach you trigonometry, I would like to teach you linear algebra, and you see there are so many misconceptions that will be removed. There are certain basic foundations which you really don't know. Invite people free of cost on Zooms, invite them for a live streaming in YouTube. Do digital media nowadays has given us a lot of facilities in order to make a contribution to the society, which was not during our days. So I would say making a YouTube channel, creating a free seminar, creating a Zoom session, YouTube live streaming, and there are multiple ways in which you can teach. You don't have to invite them to sit on a class. You might not have the facility, etc. But do these things, YouTube channel, live streaming, Google webinars, Zoom session, anything, and you will see that you have started enjoying that, and your learning solving skills. I mean to say, this is something I really don't need to talk. But just let me show you a few things on the screen. Adaptation to diverse learners, right? Because you are getting adapted to diverse learners and diverse questions and diverse queries and diverse complex problems. So obviously teaching would improve your problem solving skill, which alone a study won't be able to do that. Point number 2, identifying and addressing challenges, numerous challenges, not only learning, handwriting, identifying formulas, emotional problems, social problem, economic problems. I don't have a pen. I have been into villages where I have seen that people really do not have proper books. So how do you address that problem? You're sitting in an air-conditioned room, you got all the modern amenities to learn, but what about the people in the villages? They don't have an electricity till now, they don't have books, they don't have a pen, or maybe they have one pen through which they have to complete the entire learning. So these are emotional problems, economic and social problems. Address that and then you will understand how privileged you are. Third point, solving classroom management issues. I mean to say, not a physical classroom, even virtual classroom. You open up a webinar, 6, 7 students, 10 students, some of their cameras are switched off, some of them are talking loudly, not paying attention. You need to control them. You need to tell them, hey, come on, pay attention, because this is something important. So automatically, you are not only benefiting yourself by learning those concepts, but you are automatically becoming a teacher. Next point would be assessing student progress. Yes, it is very important. The way a student progresses, that will influence your learning. If the student is going fast, that means your learning has to be fast, because you have to be hand in hand with the student. Resilience and adaptability. Lot of problem, lot of criticism. Even today in my channel, you will see I face a lot of criticism about the videos. I try to take constructive criticism and I try to improve my thoughts and ideas, but that develops a resilience, that develops an adaptability, and most importantly for you, the learning becomes much more confident. Obvious boosts confidence. You are learning at your home, your parents are there, your professors, teachers are there, but that is not enough. There are a lot of adversities, lot of problems, lot of social economic problems which I told you, challenges which you might face. What are those? This boosts confidence. When you're talking, your communication is improved, your fundamentals are taken, you might feel embarrassed, you might feel complex question, you might face a lot of things which will improve your own learning. And I can promise you, if you teach somebody, your learning will be much effective compared to that of only learning at your own. The next point is that it fosters empathy. Yes, the few points right on your screen are responding to emotional needs, because you need to have emotion. I told you there are a lot of problems. My parents are not saying to go for science. My teachers, my social economic problems, that one. Recognizing struggles. This is important. It is not necessarily that a very good teacher has to be a brilliant throughout your career. I think I have seen many teachers who are average. You know the reason why? Because an average teacher only recognizes the problem of an average student. If I say you don't know, I assume, it is quite obvious. That means I am assuming that you have come up to the next level. But that is not true. Teachers are good teachers when in their career they have been average, because only when you are average you can understand the problem of the other students. If you are brilliant, great, but you might not know or understand the problem of the student. So recognizing struggles is an important, what the other person is facing, if you can understand and you can teach them, then you are not only a good teacher, but your fundamentals are much more clearer. Modeling empathetic behavior, community involvement and conflict resolution. This is something more prevalent. I have seen in US that there is something which is called a peer teaching. That means a class 7 student will teach a class 5 student, or a class 9 student will teach a class 7 student. That is called community involvement, because the more you teach, the more you learn. So if you create a community where you're teaching the junior students, the junior classes, remember, you are not doing a great job by helping them. You are helping yourself. You are improving your concepts. Encourages continuous learning. Very important. The reason is that the digital era will change. So you also need to upgrade yourself. It is not that, okay, I have learned algebra or I have learned trigonometry. Many things have changed. Not the basic things, but the methods have changed. There are new medias. There are new areas. On the list is that strengthens memory by recalling explanations. Whether you are a YouTuber, whether you're making a video on YouTube, whether you're teaching in the class, whether you're taking Zoom sessions, remember that you have to really remember all those things. Because when you're taking a Zoom class or a webinar, or when you're talking on YouTube, you cannot just always look onto those things and you can tell. Then the person will say he is not a teacher. I am looking only to the relevant points because these are the points on which I am explaining. So the memory, the capacity that you say that I am forgetting the formulas, I don't remember, all these things will be taken care if you start teaching. Because teaching is something where you cannot consult your books every time that you are doing. So what you need to do is that you have to recall, you have to understand, and automatically you will see the memory is increasing. If your memory is increasing, you're not forgetting anything. If you're not forgetting anything, then you are doing great in terms of examining. Extend that, but I truly feel and I have been benefited that please do teach, and my last words will be teaching is the best way of learning. A quick summary: remember, when you are teaching, your fundamentals is becoming better. The most important thing which you might face in an interview is that your communication skill is improved. You can improve and encourage critical thinking, which you otherwise lonesome or a standalone learning won't do. You will repeat certain things and you will memorize things. You will understand concepts much better because you will face question. You will be able to solve problem. It will boost your confidence, and you will see that how people are suffering. There are a lot of problems which you don't know, and you empathize and you become a better human being. You encourage into continuous learning, and your memory is much that you have to remember, otherwise you cannot teach. That's all for today's video. Do let me know how you have liked the video, and also let me know, are you really learning? Are you really teaching somebody? It can be free, it can be paid, doesn't matter. But my request to you would be, from today, take up teaching, be it free, be it anything, but that will benefit you. Remember, teaching is not about benefiting or helping others. Yes, definitely there is an aspect, but more important it is that you are serving yourself. You are doing good to yourself by improving the way you learn. That's all for today's video. Do hit on the subscribe button and do let me know how do you find the methods. Thank you very much for watching this video.